When?
Now.
Now? Now. So, today what we're doing is we're actually going to be making a fresh pasta to go along with a vodka cream sauce that we're going to be making. We do not have the proper flour for the recipe, so what we're going to be doing is using the unbleached bread flour, which we will make do with. We'll take a look at how the elasticity is, if it needs some more moisture content, if it needs more flour, and we'll just sort of play it by ear.
Guess who's in the garden? What's in there?
What we have in there is the 2 cups of the bread flour. We have 2 of the eggs, 1 egg yolk. So I'm going to put more eggs in there and just, again, play it by ear.
What's the consistency?
Right now the consistency is very much like you'd have for pie dough, or just about, you know, in terms of you have a little bit of the floury consistency, and you have a lot of little sort of what they call shaggy, where it's just starting to come together. So this is like just pre-dough. So put 1 more in. And obviously this recipe we're using, it should have been tweaked. So we're tweaking it now. And that's the wonderful thing about cooking. You can tweak it as you go along. And I'm doing this the little old Italian mama school, where we're using a fork as opposed to a larger implement, because a fork is easier to clean off.
Is it really?
Yes, it is. Because with a big whisk, what you have to do is then you have to get to the inside of the whisk, you have to clean all the tines of the whisk, and it can be a little bit of a problem. Okay, now this is about there. We've still got some more here, so that's not quite there. So I think 1 more egg will get us where we need to be. I'm going to just sort of manipulate this by hand. Yeah, it's getting about there.
Go now.
So here's the dough we have here. Turns out it took 3 eggs and 2 egg yolks. And now we're just about ready to put it through the machine for the first time. Here we go.
And you were saying the main difference between this dough and like pie dough would be the lack or butter.
Pie dough has a lot more fat in the dough, and the fat actually is called, general term is shortening. And the reason it's called shortening is because it shortens the strands of gluten in the dough, and it makes it less like a bread flour, less gluten. Okay, so what we're seeing here is this is a little bit too wet, which is why it's sort of got the, you got that sort of lattice structure, or the honeycomb structure there with this. So we're gonna hit it with some more flour and put it through again at the same thickness. And this is at the first thickness.
Oh, smaller. It's a smaller piece.
Did you just edit something from it?
I'm recording you now.
Okay, perfect. So.
What are some of the options people have for, you know, making their own pasta? Is this hand crank the most common?
The hand crank is the most common, but one thing you can do, I mean, you can even do it by hand with a rolling pin, or failing that, you can even use a bottle, which I've done. So.
Do you feel like you get better pasta with the hand crank?
Yeah, the hand crank, you have a lot more control. You have the control here that basically reduces the size between the rollers, and that way you're able to get a much more consistent product.
How do you know when you have is good to go?
It'll be elastic. Here. This is much closer. See how it's much more uniform than this. It doesn't have the tears. It doesn't look like it's irregular. It's becoming a lot more elasticized. It's becoming a lot more like what we think of as a fresh pasta dough. Because of the fact we were talking about, you know, what the different methods of being able to roll out pasta, I said I would show how we could do it even with a bottle, or you could even use a can. At one point I used a can of spray oil and just use that to roll out some pastry dough. So you just roll it. When it starts to stick on the bottle, you can just rub the bottle with a little bit more flour.
And is it good to use a bottle that's full?
It doesn't really matter. You just don't want to use a bottle that's open. So you're looking for thickness, you're looking for malleability, which this is definitely getting. And we probably want this at least half as thick as where it is now. So, there we go. So now we've started reducing the width in between the two rollers, and we're going to be rolling this out till it's quite a thin pasta, and you'll see we'll get quite a lot out of this. So, now that it's thinner, go like so, and watch as we get to the end, because I'll show you something also that's wonderful about this machine, is you can just start going the other way and roll it again before you even take it out.
And you changed
Yeah, those are done. Can you pull those up, please?
Level, right?
Yes, I changed from the first setting to the second setting.
Okay. Let's take a break from the pasta and talk about hazelnuts. Hey, Josh.
Yes.
What does it do? Why do you add flour to it? What does that actually accomplish?
Well, we add flour because we don't want it to stick to the machine, and that way it just keeps it dry enough when you're reducing the thickness that it doesn't stick and cause the machine to come out.
Alright.
Okay, so one mistake some people make with this machine is they might go a little bit too fast in terms of going from thick to thin. And one thing that can happen is you can have breaks here if you come in a little bit closer. You see how there's a little bit of breakage here in the pasta. Or you can also have problems where, because you're making it thin so fast, it will actually start to stick on the rollers. So that's why you want to go one or two clicks at a time until you get to the desired thickness.
Oh, we have our...
So now we're going to put on our machine here. So we'll go this way, and that goes this way. So you take your handle, you put it over here.
How many different types of pasta can you make with that? With this?
You can make fettuccine, and you can make linguine. We'll make fettuccine with one. We'll make linguine with the other.
What's the difference between fettuccine and linguine?
Just the thickness.
And which one is thicker? The fettuccine? Voila.
Voila.
I'm ready.
Okay, so this is the linguine. Actually, this is angel hair. This is much thinner.
I like angel hair.
It's nice, but it will dry out much more.
But if you're using it that night, no big deal, right?
No big deal. Now, you can also do cuts by hand, which we'll do on this board. So say you wanted to do it like a pappardelle, you take this, you just roll it up, making sure that it's already got enough flour on it. And then you can just cut, and it can be mildly irregular, which is what gives that pappardelle the wavy look. And then when you unroll it, it might be a little too irregular, that will be beautiful.
Like ribbons.
Exactly.
Alright, I'm stopping.
It doesn't matter.
So what are you doing now?
So right now we're just going to be doing a demo of how one would do ravioli. We're not going to actually make the ravioli, I'm just going to give you the concept. So you can put your glass in a little bit of flour, then just use it to cut your dough, like so. And then you can take it and put your filling in the middle, wet it on the edge, either with water, or you can use egg white, and then put some more on top, and then you just seal it up.
And you had your filling in the middle.
You have the filling in the middle. Now, and this is something that you can do by hand with a glass for a much larger and more sort of more fancy 2 to 3 ravioli entree. Or you can do the smaller ones where they actually have the little crimper rollers that are especially designed to crimp 2 layers together, which are really wonderful. So now we have our 3 different kinds of pasta. We have our fettuccine, we have our angel hair, which is a little, it's sticking together a little bit, but it'll be fine. And we have our tagliatelle. Now we're going to take a side towel and cover this so that they don't get too dry. And we're going to do that thing that chefs do not like to do, but it's oh so important.